Let me ask you something, and I want you to sit with it before you answer. If a friend ruined something precious of yours, something they had no intention of ruining, no malice, no carelessness, just the raw, inconvenient chaos of being human, would you forgive them? Easy, right? Of course you would. Now, what if that something was a car? Meet Sarah, 27, 38 weeks pregnant, which, for the uninitiated, means she's roughly the size and emotional stability of a weather balloon in a thunderstorm. Her wife had to leave for the afternoon. Reasonable, responsible, the kind of decision that makes perfect sense until it very suddenly doesn't. Alice came over to keep her company, because that's what good friends do. They show up, they sit with you on the couch, they pretend the movie is interesting when really they're watching you. For hours, they existed in that particular comfort only old friendship allows. No performance, no pretense, just two people, an afternoon, and the low hum of something neither of them had quite named yet. The moment arrived, as moments do, without permission and without apology. Alice didn't hesitate, didn't weigh the pros and cons, didn't consult a committee. Alice grabbed her keys, her husband's keys, technically, and she moved. That detail will matter. Hold on to it. They didn't make it to the hospital. I'll let you fill in the rest. A baby girl, perfect, as babies insist on being. Sarah would be fine, the complications would resolve, but Alice stood on the side of a road on a Tuesday evening, having just witnessed something ancient and enormous and entirely uninvited, and nobody asked if she was okay. Her husband, Mark, a practical man, a man who measures love in what he can protect and provide, and what he could not protect that afternoon was his wife. The message from Sarah was kind, sincere even, but here's the thing about trauma. It doesn't sort the mail very carefully. It doesn't open the thoughtful letters first. It just sees the envelope and flinches. And Sarah, wrapped in the exhaustion of new life, kept reaching back, kept sending messages, kept trying to bridge a gap she could feel but not quite see. She didn't do anything wrong. She also didn't do enough right. There's a specific kind of loneliness in being someone's emergency, and then, once the emergency is over, finding that the person you helped has moved into a joy so large it leaves no room to ask how you are. Alice didn't need the car cleaned. She needed someone to call and say, "I know what I asked of you. I know what you saw. Are you all right?" Not a bill, not a light-hearted message, a real question, a witness to her witness. 2 weeks later, Sarah began to understand. Not that she'd done something unforgivable, but that forgiveness, like most things worth having, requires more than good intentions. It requires imagination, the willingness to step outside your own enormous, legitimate, all-consuming experience and ask, what did this cost the person standing next to me? She may not get Alice back. Some relationships are quietly reshaped by the weight of what passes through them, and no amount of sincerity can fully restore the original form. But that's not actually the lesson. The lesson is this. Every single day, people show up for us. They drive us to the hospital. They sit with us in the dark. They hand us the pillow without being asked. And we are so consumed by our own storms, our joy, our grief, our newborns, our crises, that we forget to turn around and truly look at the people who walked through it beside us. Not to pay them, not to thank them, but to see them, to say, you carried something that day. I know you did, and I am not going to pretend otherwise just because I'm the one the story is about. We are all, at various points, the person in labor, consumed, terrified, alive in a way that crowds out everything else. The question is whether once the crisis passes, once the baby is home and the complications have resolved, and the joy has settled into something you can carry, the question is whether you remember to go back and knock on the door and ask. Alice never replied. The car was never the point.